that's also a facet of the digital literacy or media literacy that I teach, is like not just knowing what to do with information intellectually, but also knowing what to do with it emotionally. Like, how much is too much for me? And I talk to parents about this too, like being aware of passive media consumption. You know, when you're listening to the news in the car and it's like super upsetting, maybe just take a moment and talk about it, like model media literacy with your children. As adults, we have all really experienced like the burnout or like the constant like, oh my gosh, this news is so upsetting, what do I even do? And so it would be sort of unacceptable, I guess, to imagine that children don't feel the same thing, because they're sort of receiving the news secondhand in some ways, right? They see us upset by news and then they understand, oh, I should be upset by this news. We talk to parents about, you know, of course, oh, I heard, we just listened to that thing in the car about, you know, some terrible thing happening in the world. Like, how did it make you feel to hear that? And then you can also be transparent and say, you know, it was upsetting to me, but here are ways that I can sort of process it and reflect on it. So like, you know, the Mr. Rogers always thinking about the helpers. We also, you know, try to make it in terms of not focusing on the bad thing, but focusing on like the idea that like people have choice, and sometimes choices have big consequences or little consequences. You know, parents really do have to see where their children are at in terms of their social emotional development and kind of try to meet them there. It's always going to be a difficult conversation, I think, especially when you hear about really tragic events, obviously. But that reflection and discussion is so important because you're giving it the time and giving it the emotional weight that these things deserve. And that's how we prevent ourselves from being numb and prevent children from becoming completely numb to it, and also violence and everything being normalized. We should all be reflecting on the things that we hear and consume. So I think, of course, the media literacy piece has to happen in schools, but I think it also has to happen in homes as well.